Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Interviewing the Legends. I'm your host, Ray Shasho. The Fabulous Thunderbirds, who will celebrate their 50th anniversary with the release of their first studio album in 8 years, struck down on June 28th. The album's first single, Payback Time, featuring Billy Gibbons, is out now. Struck Down also features special guests Bonnie Raitt, Taj Mahal, Kev Mo, and Mick Fleetwood on the album's lone cover song, a scintillating take on Memphis Minnie's Nothing and Rambling. Additional contributions on the new disc come from Elvin Bishop, Terrance Simien and Canadian blues guitar ace Steve Strongman, who co-wrote with Kim Wilson 9 of the album's 10 tracks. Formed in 1974, the Fabulous Thunderbirds is a familiar name for anyone into contemporary blues and blues rock. This is the band that created classic albums like T-Bird Rhythm and Tough Enough, powered by hits like the title track and Wrap It Up. Tough Enough went platinum, selling more than 1 million copies. Led by founding member Kim Wilson, the Fabulous Thunderbirds have been nominated for Grammy Awards 6 times and for Blues Music Awards more than 20 times. The Fabulous Thunderbirds continue to tour internationally, selling out venues and headlining festivals, with the current lineup of Kim Wilson on vocals and harmonica, John Moeller on guitar, Bob Welsh on keyboards and guitar, Rudy Albin on drums, and Steve Kirsty on bass. Please welcome American blues singer and harmonica player, best known as the frontman and band leader of the Fabulous Thunderbirds, Mr. Kim Wilson, to Interviewing the Legends. Happy 50th.
Yeah, it's pretty good. 50 years for a guy who didn't think he was going to live past 30.
Oh my gosh. Really? You're a football player, man.
I was a football player, but there was a time when things were a little screwy. Had a harmonica in my mouth the whole time, though. That was done with like 36 years ago. So
right. I think we all went through that kind of period, though.
Yeah.
I had a point where I said, I'll probably make it to 40, and that's about it.
Yeah. I hear you.
Last time we chatted, the first time we chatted was actually in 2011. So we go way back. And the last time was 2021 when we did a review on Take Me Back. So, yeah, you continue to amaze us. You really do.
Thank you.
I want to talk about the new album, of course. Let me tell you, man, I love the album. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's called Struck Down. This is what I said about the album. Okay. It's the very best Fabulous Thunderbirds album to date. Grammy worthy. This album has it all. Legendary guest artists, and every track is a great track. Several may already be considered classics, and I gave it 5 stars.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Yeah, to me, this is between Shelly Ackes doing the mixing, and he's he's world famous. He's the best mixer in history. If you look at his resume, it's incredible. So then you got the mastering people, Sterling, and between him and them, and then so sonically is just incredible, and performance-wise, material-wise, it's just the best we've ever done, no doubt, in my mind. It's a good thing to happen on a 50th anniversary record.
Yes, it is, man, and I hope it gets recognized and wins Grammy, because it deserves a Grammy, and especially with all these great people on the album, and they're all your friends, what I understand.
Yeah,
right.
Bonnie, she's a dear friend of mine. Taj, Taj was one of my big influences when I was just starting, and and then Elvin and Terrance Simien, who I love. If you haven't heard him, he's played Squeezebox and Rubboard on Don't Make No Sense. And let's see, who am I missing? Oh, Kev Mo, a very good friend of mine. And Billy Gibbons, I've known him for decades. So and then Steve Strongman. Now, Steve Strongman's a real sleeper on this thing, because it's a funny story. my manager told me that Jeff at the label, it's on the Stony Plain label, a Canadian label, and Jeff said, "Well, I'm going to sign you guys, but you've got to write with my guy on everything." And I went, "What? I can't do that." And my manager said, "Just try it." So Strongman comes down here for 3 days. In first 3 days, we get 5 songs. He comes back for another 3 days, we get 12. Wow. So I guess there was a chemistry, you know what I mean? And he's a really great musician, incredible. He plays the solo on Struck Down, as a matter of fact. And he plays a lot of guitar on this record as well. You know, just little fills here and there. And so it's very, very accomplished player, very accomplished.
Well, it's a great story too, because Steve saw you in a club when he was like 16 years old. And he said he always had the highest regard for you when he first saw you. And then he ends up collaborating with you after all
That's
these
amazing.
years.
Yeah, he was a protege of Mel Brown, who played, he had his own career, but he also played with Bobby Bland, and he lived down in Austin for a long, long time. And I knew Mel very well. And then he moved up to Canada and worked with a friend of mine, a club owner, kind of entrepreneur, Glenn Smith, up there in Kitchener. And he lived in Kitchener until his death, which was very, very sad. But you know, he was a great musician, incredible. I was just listening to Pine Tom Perkins and myself, and Mel takes a solo on this track. That's you know, it's when all those guys were alive, you know, when giants walk the earth, you know what I mean?
Exactly right.
People like Muddy Waters, you know, people like Jimmy Rogers. I was able to pay back a little bit to Jimmy Rogers. In fact, I'm doing the Chicago Blues Fest, a tribute to Jimmy Rogers with his son and his grandson, and Kenny Smith and a bunch of other great players. So that's going to be fun. That's in the beginning of June.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
I'm friends with B.B. King's daughters.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, they're so cool. Yeah, I've had him on the show a couple of times too.
B.B. King was a very generous man.
He was a good guy, wasn't he?
Fantastic. Yeah,
one of the only guys that the blues guys that played Sesame Street.
How about that?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that, actually.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm going to go down a couple of this, all the songs on the album. First of all, it starts out with Struck Down, okay, which is an incredible tune. You know, a lot of these songs, if Top 40 was only like it used to be, you know, when Tough Enough came out, most of these songs would have been on Top 40 radio. You know, they're that good. They really are. And Strongman plays guitar on Struck Down, of course.
Yes.
It's a great tune. It really is. And I love how the tracks are to the point. They're not real long. They're like the old Top 40 days, you know. They make an impact and move on, you know, which is great. I love it that way.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, that's just this record's really kind of where I live. I mean, they were trying to make a soul singer out of me a few records back, and that didn't really work because I'm a blues and rock and roll singer, you know?
Yeah.
So some of these songs, like we both, Strongman and I both came in prepared. So I had this song, and then he came in, buffed out the lyrics with me. Then I would say, give me a smart chord here. So he'd give me a smart chord, and then I'd say, not so smart. But this track, it's very dear to me because I had this song for several years, and then Strongman came down and really fixed it up. You know?
Yeah, he nailed it. Both of you nailed it.
It's a good performance.
Yes, it is. I like the title of the next song because I worked with a lady for years and years and years at my dad's retail electronics stores, and she knew me since I was a baby. Her name was Clementine, and her favorite saying was, "Don't make no sense."
You know, I really got that from my wife, just saying it over and over again to me.
That's funny.
And it just kind of inspired me to write a song, and so that's Terrance Simien on that one, and he's playing the squeeze box. It's not like the guy behind me, Clifton,
right,
who had keys on one side. The Cajun squeeze box is buttons on both sides. So I don't know how they do it, to be honest with you, but I love this guy. Every time I see him, I've seen him many times on the cruise, and he's just such a sweet guy, and he's such a fantastic, true to himself musician, and I really appreciate that.
He's big on Cajun music too, right?
Oh yeah, that's his thing. He does his own take on it. He's got his own take on all that stuff, and it's very he's very, very impressive, and he's got his whole family in the band too. So
cool. I didn't know that.
Traditional. A lot of those guys had their families in the band, in the old days. Like let's see, Nathan Abshire. I don't know if he might have not had his family in his band, but people like Clifton Chenier, of course, and Deidre Farr just put a post on about Cleveland Chenier, who was Clifton's brother, and he played the rub board. He had that big metal thing hanging over it, and he played with a couple of bottle openers, and man, they would play for 4 or 5 hours straight without stopping.
Really? Wow.
It was amazing. And they had Blind John Hart on tenor, who could take apart and put together a Cadillac engine. Little Buck on guitar. Jumpin' Joe Morris on the bass, who was the king of the toothpick, and the toothpick would be like, he'd have the same toothpick all day long. And while he'd be playing, he'd be going like, out. And he had Robert St. Judy on the drums, and he put a extension cord around his drums to keep them from flying away, and he would always tape his wallet to the drums. And what that guy was doing was just insane. I mean, and I saw him on a European blues show, a video of it with Magic Sam and Earl Hooker. And he was way younger then, of course. And I look back there and I go, look at that. He's got that wallet taped to his snare. I said, I know that guy. And there he was, man. It was crazy. But and then later on, Buckwheat joined the band.
Right.
And that's when Buckwheat had the raccoon on his shoulder with the chain to his neck.
Those some characters, man.
I saw them down at Jay's Lounge in Cockpit. We played there several times, and down in Lafayette. And it was one of those things where Jay's wife, Marie, would pay us at the end of the night, and she would call off Sweet 16 by B.B. King three times. I'd have to play 3 times a night. And they would all be in the back watching the rooster fights. So there'd be nobody in the place the first set. And then after the rooster fights were over, they just come out in single file, and they dance around the room in a circle like waltzing. You know what I mean? It's just, it's unbelievable down there. I mean, it's another world.
It is.
And it was, so to see Clifton in that place, wow. Yeah, it was pretty heavy.
That's a real Americana deal right there. Yeah, that's how it started. It really is. Don't Make No Sense reminds me of 2 songs, a Chubby Checker tune and the song Midnight Special. It's kind of a combination of those two. It reminds me of those days, back in the 60s. It's so great. Such a cool tune.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, Payback Time with Mr. Billy Gibbons,
Yep.
Z-Top fame. That single is out right now.
Yep.
And that's got the tradition of Tough Enough. It's got that, that top 40 flavor to it, I guess.
Yeah.
That should be a hit for sure, especially with Billy Gibbons on there as a guest
Yeah.
artist.
Well,
Yeah, no doubt.
he plays his butt off on that too, and
Yeah.
when we were writing that song, that's another song I had for quite a while. And Steve came in and we buffed it out. And the first thing I said was, "Oh, Gibbons has got to be on this." He's perfect for it, obviously. And when you hear it, it's like, man, it's they say, "Oh, the T-Birds meet ZZ Top." Well, I don't know about that, but
no,
it kind
of different.
It's different. It's different.
It's very different. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's and this guy knows how to make a record. Okay. He's made a few of them in his life.
Yes, he has.
And he's made a few real big ones.
Yep.
So yeah, it's a pleasure to have all these people on here, and I had to call in a few favors, but everybody said yes, and
good.
Very, very happy about that.
Yeah. Now, Memphis Minnie. I was turned on to Memphis Minnie by Maria Muldaur because she did an album, a tribute to Memphis Minnie, and that's how I first learned about her. She was amazing. She really was.
Yeah.
And what I understand, Bonnie Raitt paid for her gravestone as well.
I did not know that.
I read that. So there's a connection there as well. And you guys do, everybody together on this tune is incredible.
Yeah.
Just a fantastic tune, man.
Yeah. It's one of those things. This is a song that we did on the Letterman show with myself and Bonnie and Kevin. And it got a lot of hits. But and that was a very cool track. We were doing that thing at Radio City Music Hall. All these people on there. I mean, it was an incredible lineup. I mean, people like Solomon Burke and I mean, so many people. Dr. John.
Yep.
Kevin actually was the band leader on that, and people like Danny Korchmar. I mean, it was just, you just go on and on and on and on. Excuse me. And it was so we took a break, and we went over there to the Lettermans and did that track. And Bonnie insisted on doing that track. We had another one written for her, but she said, "No, I want to do the other one." I said, "Okay." but and to be honest with you, the one that we wrote was a little too dark.
Right.
Even though Nothing in Ramblin' is pretty dark subject matter wise, it's just the performance of it. I can't really explain it, but the one we had was, and I got it. So, and it's the only non-original on the whole thing. But if you're going to have one that's not original, that's a pretty good one.
Oh, you guys shine on that track, man. It just shows how, what kind of pros all you guys are, when you work together on this. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Some people that don't know about Memphis Minnie, she did so many great songs. When the Levee Breaks, big tune. She wrote that. Me and My Chauffeur Blues, Bumblebee, of course, Nothing in Rambling. She was, these are blues artists that never really got the accolades they deserve,
No.
Which is
a shame. She had Joe McCoy was her husband or significant other for many years.
Right.
And he played guitar with her on a lot of that stuff. Me and My Chauffeur was a hit song, actually, back in the day.
Right.
Might have been on Race Records, but because I think that one was on Chess. Now I've got I've got the JSP box on her, which is probably way more Memphis Minnie than you're ever going to want, but not really, because you're the thing is, in my phone, I have a terabyte of space, and I have pretty much everything. Well, not everything I own, but all the cool stuff, the coolest stuff that I own on there, and I have that whole box in there. So when a song comes up that I haven't heard, it's like, whoa, you know, I didn't know that existed.
Yeah,
Wow,
exactly.
I mean, she was incredible, absolutely incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Mama Thornton probably got more accolades than she did back
Oh
in the
yeah.
day. Yeah.
But Big Mama, you know, Big Mama was absolutely incredible. I was playing the Juneteenth festival down in Houston, and a lot of people were still alive. Lightning Hopkins was sitting in the audience. It was Lightning Hopkins Day. He was in the audience and he wasn't going to play, right? And Big Mama was on that, so I went back. I backed her up that day, and I went back, and her purse was sitting on the counter, you know, in the dressing room with all the lights around and everything, you know, a real dressing room. And I looked, you know, her purse was kind of open. I looked in there, and there was nothing but there was a half pint of 100 proof Granddad and a 38.
Oh man.
And that's all she had in her purse.
That's funny. That's great. Those are the great stories, you know.
Oh yeah,
great blues stories.
I got a lot of them.
Oh yeah, you just sure do. Yeah, I don't mean this in bad in any way, but you are a walking museum because of the people you know.
Yeah, you know, I've got some very personal stories, you know.
Yeah.
Of the greats, you know, the fantastic people that, you know, the beautiful thing about the originators and the masters is that there was no homogenization going on. Everybody had their own take. Everybody had their own personality. It wasn't people coming out singing gospel and calling it blues. It was these guys all had their own style, and they were, of course, icons. I mean, you got people like Muddy Waters and Jimmy Rogers on the same label, totally different people. Same band playing behind them. But you know, and then you have people like B.B. King. I own everything B.B. King did on RPM and Kent, everything, because I have to have it. You know, I have to have it. I mean, the thing about B.B. King was that he was the most emulated of any guitarist.
You're right.
You listen to Buddy Guy, he plays some B.B. King. Otis Resch, he plays B.B. King upside down and backwards. You know, every single guy quotes B.B. King in his playing, just about. And maybe not Gatemouth. Gatemouth, I toured with him a bit too, and he was a monster. Okay, maybe the greatest blues guitarist to ever live. For me, it was between him and BB, because I love what BB does, and BB singing. The thing about BB was, though, is he was the best at both things.
Right.
Which is wow. You know.
Yeah.
You listen to those records. I mean, and people are he's switching guitars. Like sometimes he's playing a Strat, sometimes he's playing a Gibson, like Lucille. Sometimes he's playing a Telly. You can hear it in the sound of the solos and what he's doing. And that Sweet 16, man, I mean, I get chills just thinking about that song.
Yeah.
You know, but the thing is, he said, I'm just striving to get my sound. And I'm going like, what are you talking about? You've had your sound since you started, you know what I mean? It's crazy.
You know what's so cool about BB? He was accepted commercially. You know, most blues guys aren't accepted by a wide range of audience. He was.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
He broke that barrier. He really did.
It's gone. The thrill is gone. And Hummingbird.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, yeah, he did break those barriers. And white audiences started listening. That was in the 60s. And he kind of transcended the whole coffee house thing. Where Lightning and Muddy and all those guys were playing.
Right.
And it was kind of the folk scene that really got the blues going. You could say also that people like the Rolling Stones.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've seen Howlin' Wolf on
Mm-hmm.
Shindig.
Yep.
And the Rolling Stones brought him over there. Billy Preston on piano. You didn't know that probably, but it was that was a big deal, and that kind of brought kids around to listening to that stuff. And there's no excuse for not listening to that stuff anymore, because it's
Exactly.
right there. It's right at your
Yeah.
fingertips. You can hear all the greatest stuff that was ever done.
Sure.
And this is what I do all day long. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm building this playlist. It's like 700 songs right now of just all the best things I can, I'll put my Cotton used to say he'd have people fill up his iPod for him, right? He'd say, yeah, man. And then I just put it on Ramble. Shuffle. And that's what I do. I put it on shuffle, and then I go, oh, I want that one in there. Boom. I put it right in.
Yeah, that's smart.
I've almost had several accidents because I listen to my music in the car a lot.
Yeah, that's the best place to listen to it, really, because you're on the move and it's enjoyable.
Yeah, absolutely. And when I put but you don't want to be switching. You want to have everything right there. Otherwise, you have problems. But that's what I love about this new T-Bird record.
Yeah,
it sounds good.
Everything sounds good
on every format.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't wait for people to really start getting wind of this.
Oh yeah.
It's taken on a life of its own, to be honest.
It's great.
Yeah.
Some of the other tracks, I Won't Give Up, which produces a great message there.
Yes.
It's an upbeat track, great harmonica performance. And your harmonica playing has gotten better and better and better as time goes on. It's incredible.
You're not supposed to get worse. But yeah, and that's something that it's got to be like breathing to you.
Yeah.
So you can just improvise and let it fly. And the thing about now, I've been on hundreds of records. I hate to interrupt you there.
Yeah, sure.
I've been on hundreds and hundreds of records. And what I've realized is that if you're able to harmonize with other musicians, whether it be rock, whether it be soul, whether it be blues, you don't even have to change anything that you do.
Right.
And now I've had taskmasters like I'm losing my mind.
It'll come to you.
but I've had taskmasters that say, right, can you do this?
Right.
And they'll throw me a melody line, and I'll say, well, if I can, I will. Mm-hmm. But lots of times, like when I went with Mark Knopfler, that was so cool because he was such a great studio leader, for one thing. Mm-hmm. And he had the really fantastic musicians with him. And so I walk into this room, and he's got like 8 old little Gibson amplifiers, mm-hmm, which is what I use in the studio. And I go, wow. So I just plugged into each one, found out the 1 or 2 that I like the best, and boom. And it was just a lot of improvisation. He came in. Now, I have a real problem with jet lag overseas. I mean, mm-hmm, I never get right.
Right.
And so they come in. I would take the double-decker bus to the studio. It was really cool. Or I would walk, and they'd walk in, and there'd be a tray of cappuccinos in there, right? So I'd have 2 or 3 of those. We get in there, and I'd start flying, right?
Right.
And so we did this one track, and the band was saying, oh man, that's the best thing I've ever heard in my life. That was unbelievable. So we walk into the control room, and Knopfler, not pointing out anyone, says, that's not exactly what I was looking for. Now, we knew he was talking to me, but he did not address me. So I said, okay, So I go in there and I phrase it. I calm down after being caffeined up. I phrase it, come back in. Knopfler looks at me and says, "Perfect." And that was, the guy he was just really great in there. Some people, they're a little difficult in the studio, and like Bonnie, she was fantastic. And I've been on 2 or 3 Bonnie records. It's like songwriting, for instance. I mean, you have to know and assume a role.
Right.
Like when I go in and write with Steve Jordan and Danny Korchmar, it depends on the song, my role changes. Sometimes it's just an attitude, sometimes a performance, sometimes lyrically. I came into Jordan's flat one day on Fifth Avenue, and I got my bag on, and we're walking the door, and we just started, and all of a sudden we're singing it. Don't even have my bag off, right? We're just singing, boom, 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 and all of a sudden we got a song. We haven't even gone to any instruments yet. And I'm going, okay, well, I'll put my bag down. Let's go get a coffee. We've got one already.
Yeah.
I mean, I love writing with those guys. I didn't write with him on this one, but it reminded me of them writing with Strongman, to be honest with you. And, same kind of thing, I mean, the thing about Strongman was, and I really liked the way he talked. He goes, "I just want to make you happy."
I like that.
I really like the way you talk. And I said, okay. But the thing is that he's such a great writer, and it just gelled fantastically. And what's the next track on there?
The Hard Way.
Yeah, that's really a great track.
That's heavy blues. Great voice on that one.
Yeah, the voice is the performance is fantastic on that.
Yeah, and of course Elvin Bishop, who I love. What You Do to Me on the next track. Yeah.
I
like Elvin Bishop. Always did like him.
That's very T-Bird.
Yep.
Very T-Bird.
Definitely.
Shuffle, B flat, third position harmonica. Actually, I went down the street to do an overdub on that track just from my house.
Really?
There's a guy down there named Martin Holland who played bass with Zappa and the Mothers. And so he's got a little thing in his garage down there. I told him I wouldn't tell anybody because the association would probably get on his butt. But this guy's an incredible talent. And so we did, I think I did the harmonica and the vocal on Nothing in Ramblin', and I did the harmonica on What You Do to Me. Maybe a vocal as well. I don't think.
Yep.
Maybe not. But that's the thing about digital recording. You don't have to go in the studio together. It's impossible.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing their own thing.
Exactly.
Everybody's busy. So you send people the stems, and on Nothing in Ramblin', I sent Kev Moe the song, and he started it. He already had Taj in the studio with him, so they did theirs right there. He did the guitar. Then Bonnie got it. Bonnie did her part and some guitar. Then Mick Fleetwood, who's also on this record.
Yes, very cool. Yeah.
And he plays it, he plays his butt off on that.
Yeah.
And then last one to get it was me. And I had already done a performance, but not actually, I had not done a performance. It really started with Kev Moe. So I added my performance at the very end. And that's the way you do it these days. It's what I didn't realize. Now I have not since the
pandemic.
Take Me Back.
Oh, okay.
Take Me Back was all those records that I had done previously.
Right.
Were live to analog mono. Okay, just like they used to do them.
Yeah.
So I had not done any digital recording in a long, long time, 8 years. I didn't realize in the last 5 years that the headway they've made in how digital recording sounds.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. And I was blown away. I was kind of against recording digitally. And then when I heard how it was going, I went, okay. And then Shelly Yakus, I cannot tell you how important this guy was. Shelly Yakus and my manager, who knew Shelly Yakus, because he used to manage Stevie Nicks. And so Shelly Yakus had, my manager's name is Glenn Parrish, and he's a co-producer on this album, by the way. But so we call Shelly, get on the phone with him, and he says, well, you have to mix with emotion. And I went, whoa, I don't think anybody's ever told me that before. And so what I really dug about mixing long distance, because he was in New Jersey, and I've been in mixing rooms before, and you just beat your ears up many times, and you just beat your ears up, and by the time you get out of there, you don't know what happened. So he would send the track. He'd almost had it already. A couple of times he had it the first shot, and I would say, well, I can hear a little more of this, and maybe a little less, and a little more of this. He sent it back, and it'd be done. And mixing long distance is pretty cool, actually.
Was he responsible for the engineering or the final mix, or
the final mix?
The final mix. Okay.
The final mix. Yeah. The engineering was done by and it's on the CD because I can't remember his name. This guy was great, and they really recorded it very well. We did it in New Jersey at Ponderosa Studios, I believe. Right. Is that it? Was that what it is?
Sounds about right. I got to look it up also. But the sound quality is incredible.
Yeah,
it really is. They did a great job.
To start out with something really great.
Yeah,
to make it greater in the final mix. And so they really recorded it well. And
did a great job.
Yeah.
But the last 3 songs on the album, I've Got Eyes, which is a great jam. Awesome lyrics too about that.
That's dedicated to my wife.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Does your wife sing as well?
She doesn't sing.
Okay,
she has great taste. She has great taste in music, and we cross over.
You have a beautiful wife too, by the way. I did see your picture on a blog. I think you did a blog and actually showed some pictures of your wife, right?
I don't remember that, but yeah, she's been on Facebook with me a few times. So
okay, yeah.
Without her, I'd be nothing.
Yeah, I could say the same thing.
I'm not kidding you. I mean, we've been married 6-7 years now, and she's done her best to civilize me, but it's a work in progress.
Yeah,
but she's an incredible woman.
Well, she's done a good job, Kim, because you look great.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, it really is the fact that I haven't had any alcohol for 36 years.
Yeah,
that's why I can look.
Really, who needs it? It slows you down. It makes you feel like crap the next day. Who needs it?
Like who said it? One of the Almonds. He said, I just got sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah,
that's very well put.
Exactly right.
And you do stupid stuff, and then
Yep, you learn.
One day you just go, nah, I'm done.
We all learn.
Yeah.
Anyway,
enough of that stuff. But
so
then you got
That's Cold is a fun rocker.
Yep.
And then you finish it all off with Sideline, which is a kind of a slow bluesy tune, which is it sounds like a classic blues tune from way back.
It's a ballad kind of.
Great.
Yeah, you could call that maybe a sleeper single.
It's awesome.
and we got the woman singing in the backup. She did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
And Bob Welsh did an unbelievable job on this record. I mean, he's playing guitar, he's playing organ, he's playing piano. He's really incredible. I'm so happy to have this guy. I'm happy to have all of them. I mean, Rudy Albin played with brother Jack McDuff for 6 or 7 years. And Steve Kirsty, who's the baby of the bunch, but his soul is way older than he is.
Right.
You know, I think he might be 31 now.
Wow.
Which is a kid
to me. A kid. Yeah, me too.
But he's what an incredible musician he is.
Yeah.
And then you got Johnny Moeller, who's been with me for 17 years. So he does a great solo on I Won't Give Up. Great solo.
5 stars, man. Great album. I love it.
Thank you very much.
It's a classic already. It's not even released yet.
Yeah. Like I say, it's taken on a life of its own.
It has. Yeah, I believe that. Well, you just finished some gigs at my old stomping grounds, the Blues Alley, which I used to hang out at Georgetown all the time. I'm originally from DC area, but I live in Florida now.
I love DC.
Yeah.
It's a great place.
You play GC a lot, as a matter of fact. I remember did you ever play the Cellar Door?
Many times.
Yeah. I think
Bayou?
That's the Bayou, yeah.
And there's some good live tracks out of the Bayou, actually.
Right.
And that's when I had written Wait on Time. That was like the first recorded version of Wait on Time, I think.
Do you know the guys from the Nighthawks?
Of course. Mark Winter, Thackeray. Back then, yeah, I slept on their floors many times. Just lay out a pallet, baby.
we had some good musicians from DC. Roy Buchanan.
Absolutely.
Catfish Hodge. Who else? I'm missing somebody here, but yeah.
What about oh God, the guy who wrote You Make My Mood Ring Sweat? What was his name? Oh, he was a character, man. Oh, I can't remember his name. He had a moniker that he went by. Something Slim, maybe.
Oh, Root Boy Slim.
Root Boy Slim. Oh, yeah. Oh, boy, was he a character. I don't. He's probably not around anymore, I don't think.
A lot of those guys are gone. Yeah. Yeah. It was good music scene.
It was a great place. And there was also the Child Herald.
The Child Herald, that's right.
Played there several times.
Yeah.
It was, I love going there.
Yeah.
I don't think I had ever played Jazz Alley, Blues Alley before.
Right.
It seems like I recognized the place. Rudy said he had played there with McDuff back in like 85.
But that's been there a long time, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot to mention another guy, Danny Gatton.
Oh, yeah.
Danny Gatton. Yeah. And, you know, the guys from Hot Tuna, they're from DC, you know.
What about, I think he's still alive, too, the rockabilly guy who he played with Gatton sometimes. He was a singer.
Not Link Ray, right?
No. Was he from DC?
I don't know. I don't remember, but he was in DC a lot. I know that.
There was another guy. Oh God, he was a great singer too.
Yeah.
But anyway,
it'll come to you.
It'll come to me when we're done.
You got some dates coming up. You're going to be in California, July 3rd. You also you got a few days in California, Napa. You're going to Europe in July, is that right?
Yeah.
Germany?
Yeah. We're playing Bilbao, Spain. We're playing Germany. Then we're playing No Toten, which is a fantastic festival. I mean, what they do is they just make the whole town a festival.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to Estonia.
Whoa, nice.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I've been there a couple times,
Huh.
before and after. Before communism was gone, after communism was gone.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting in the dressing room eating a pepper steak. It's like a kind of what they eat over there. And I'm eating, and I realize that everybody's looking at me. And I'm realizing that I probably had the only steak for miles around. And I went, well, somebody else can have this. But, it's all changed now. I mean, that was decades ago.
Yeah.
But I do remember that we had 180,000 people at that gig.
Wow.
And the stage had the Guinness Book of World Records for, you could put 40,000 people on the stage.
You're kidding me. That's a big stage.
It was a big stage.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it was crazy because they had a huge mosh pit. It was raining.
Right.
Then a huge mosh pit, and it's just mud, and these people are just going crazy. I mean, they were just covered in mud, and
Sounds like fun.
yeah. It was. I don't know if you would call it fun. I think you would call it kind of whoa.
Yeah. I got to mention Tough Enough. I told you this before. When you sang that song, you sounded like Tom Jones. Your voice sounded like Tom Jones. And Tom Jones would have made a big hit out of this song, too. I really think so.
Well,
he
Tom
should have
Jones
recorded it.
Actually, Tom Jones did cover one of my songs.
Yeah. But this was perfect for him. It really was,
Yeah.
But you wrote that song on a barf bag.
Yeah. I wrote it on a barf bag.
That's funny.
Between Dallas and Austin.
Oh, man.
That's all it took. Hour and a half. Boom.
That's amazing. That's a great song. And, I still imprinted in my mind. I love the movie Tough Guys, and you were featured in that movie. The music was great. Of course, Burt Lancaster, Kirk Douglas, Charles Durning, Dana Carvey, Eli Wallach.
Wow.
What a cast,
Yeah, that's an honor.
It is an honor. It really is.
An honor to be, because that was the last movie those guys had made.
That's right.
And so it was, wow, because I'm big fans of every single person you mentioned right there.
The song fit the movie perfectly. The song was perfect for that movie, Then
there was another, it was in 3 or 4 movies. What's the one?
Gung Ho.
Yes.
Gung Ho, yeah.
Then there was a B movie it was in too. And I can't remember the name of that one. I think it was Naked Cage.
Naked Cage, okay.
I'm not sure what that was about. It might have been a prison movie. I don't think I ever saw
it. But the Thunderbirds were in actually a lot of movies. You guys were in Bull Durham on the soundtrack of that. You got to be proud of Cadillac Records.
Of course.
You did a lot of music on that one.
Yeah.
All the blues stuff, right?
Yeah. There was a lot of Steve Jordan was the musical director for that.
Right.
And so he called me up and said, hey, I got something for you here. Steve has given me a lot of great work. And I said, well, when he told me about Shush Records, I went, I got all the guys. So really, between Billy Flynn, Barrelhouse Chuck, Larry Taylor, he and Eddie Taylor Jr. Actually, that was Steve's hire, and he played the drums on it. So it was, that guy is incredible, of course. What a musician. So it's such an honor to know him and Danny Korchmar, who is a guy who's got so many guitar hooks stored in his mind.
Yeah.
He used to just blow my mind I haven't talked to Danny in quite a little while, but
Right.
of course, yeah, I'll get a hold of him once or twice a year, and we had this band called the Cockroaches.
Good name.
Because you can drop the A bomb on us and we won't die.
I like that. That's cool.
We'll just morph into a one-man band with six arms, But
that's cool.
Yeah, these guys, what a fantastic time I have writing with these guys.
Yeah.
And of course, Danny produced a record on us, and Steve produces many, many people, and he's playing with the Stones.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, I've got a lot of really cool friends.
You do.
That I have worked with and that I love. I love all of them, and I feel very fortunate and very blessed to have known, for one thing, all of the originators of blues and R&B, and to have been associated with people like Muddy Waters, associated with people like Jimmy Rogers, Eddie Taylor, Jimmy Reed, Snooky Pryor, James Cotton, who was like my big brother, Albert Collins, Lowell Fulson, Pee Wee Creighton, Luther Tucker, who was in a band with me for about a year. Now, I had to fly him out to Minnesota. That didn't work out well. But so many people. Big Walter Horton, I mean, these guys were sometimes very, very good friends, like family.
Right.
Big Walter was more of an association, but I would talk to Big Walter, and I remember being up all night one time in Austin, and I was walking by Antone's for some reason, and there was Big Walter. It was summertime, sleeveless T-shirt, jeans, boombox up here, and I walk up to him, and he said, and he was looking at these two cars that had boxed in this other guy. He said, I know how to fix that. You just put a tire at each end of your car and just boom, 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 boom. You get right out.
How about that?
He goes, I not only teach you how to play a harmonica, I'll teach you how to be a man.
Wow. That's cool. That's cool.
That's heavy. That's heavy.
Yeah.
But
I had the privilege of talking to Johnny Winter about Muddy Waters, because he was good friends with Muddy as well. He drank champagne, didn't he? Wasn't that his drink of choice? Yeah.
For Heitzig, a couple bottles a night.
I saw a picture of you with Muddy together, laughing and carrying on somewhere on the internet. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'd go up there. I had really, actually, I don't know if I can curse on this, but
anything you want.
I've been trying to be clean, but we didn't have a drummer at the time.
Right.
And so I said, Willie, go up and see the old man and see if you can play with us on our set, because we were opening up for Muddy and Antone's. So Willie comes down, says it's cool. We have a great set. People go crazy. I go walking up to the dressing room, and I called him Pops, and I said, "Hey, Pops, how's it going, man?" Excuse me. And you might know. I said, "Hey, man, how you doing?" He goes, I said, "Oh, no. You're not mad because I used Willie, are you?" And he said, "You go fuck yourself."
Oh, wow.
But I knew I was in then.
Oh, man.
And I told Buddy Guy that story, and Buddy Guy still has that on his picks.
Does he really?
Oh, man.
Buddy's like the last original, isn't he? He's one of the last originals.
I mean, I don't know if you've heard that song, that album, It's My Life by Junior Wells with Buddy Guy on it. Oh, my God. That was like the Bible. Well, the three records that I had initially were the James Cotton Blues Band,
right,
with his face on it, and It's My Life by Junior Wells, and Hate to See You Go by Little Walter. Those were my three, if you only had 3 records, those are 3 pretty
That
good
would be it on the desert island. Yep.
Buddy Guy
Those 3
was
records.
playing his ass off on this record.
Yeah, he's incredible.
It's
Yeah.
the live stuff at Peppers.
Yeah.
And then he's got Al Duncan playing drums with him. That's with the live stuff is with Fred Below and Jack Myers and Buddy, and that's it, and Junior. And then the studio stuff's got Al Duncan. I think that's got Jack Myers on it as well on bass. Al Duncan on drums, who was incredible, and Buddy Guy, and this guy Tim Kaihatsu, who played on that also on that live Buddy Guy record. This is Buddy Guy. You want to hear a fantastic record? I'm telling you right now, it's available.
Yeah.
It's My Life, and This is Buddy Guy is available. And I'll tell you what, Buddy Guy is just a monster, and he still is.
He's still touring.
He's still touring.
Yeah.
87 years old.
He looks good.
He looks
good.
good.
Really good. Yeah.
Good genes. That's all I can tell you.
Here's a question I've asked you before. I want to see if you've changed your mind or anything. And I ask everybody this question: if you had a Field of Dreams wish, like the movie, to collaborate with anyone from the past or present, who would that be? And I know one of your favorite performers is the Jug Man, Eugene Ammons.
Boy, if I could get him on a record,
right?
Oh my God. I listen to Ammons just about every day, just like I listen to Little Walter and B.B. King every day, and Cotton. I mean, there's so much stuff I listen to, but Ammons, he was one of those guys. Now, if I could get Ammons and Illinois Jacquette and Lee Morgan in a horn section, wow, that would be it for me. I mean,
that's it.
And Leo Parker on baritone, and the Bird on alto.
Yeah.
Yeah, Charlie Parker.
Good band.
That would be an incredible horn section.
Yeah.
And then have Span on piano and Dixon on bass, Below or Sonny Freeman on drums. What else do you need? And then Jimmy Smith or Jack McDuff on organ.
Right.
With Span on piano.
Nice.
You know, I could die happy.
I would stick Elmore James in there somewhere. I was a big Elmore James fan.
Listen, there's a lot of people. I mean, Johnny on piano.
Yeah.
Sunnyland Slim,
right?
That was Barrel House Chuck's guy, and also the guy who Tampa Red played with on piano, Big Maceo. Big Maceo was the guy that all those Chicago guys learned, all of them, and so there's so many different people. I mean, you can know. The thing is that back in the day, even before my time, everybody could play.
Yeah.
True. Everybody could play, and everybody played right.
Yeah.
And everybody had their own take. Everybody had, the styles were just all over the place. And you could listen to Robert Johnson, then Kokomo Arnold, then Skip James. There were so many guys. Lonnie Johnson. A lot of people learned from Lonnie Johnson. Then you got Blind Boy Fuller.
Right.
You got Blind Blake. All the blind guys. Blind Lemon Jefferson.
Yep.
Um, but Blind Boy Fuller, out of all those guys, I think this might be my favorite. I love Robert Johnson. I mean, Robert Johnson is the pinnacle of it,
right?
Because he was the first guy to do. Well, he was the first guy to do Sweet Home Chicago, right? With that spread, boom, doo, 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 doo. I don't remember anybody ever doing that before. So, you know, the selling the soul to the devil thing, no, that's possible. You know, that's possible. Go to the crossroads and at least I tell you what, he came back after a year. He couldn't really play very well.
Yeah.
Came back after a year, and he was like, that's how he was.
Yeah.
You know, serious death.
Right.
You
know, I think his family was upset about that, about the whole devil thing, because of course, they said it was all made up. I think a reporter made that up. You know, listen to this. I asked Johnny Winter. I said, "Did you ever make a pact, Johnny?" He says, "Hell no, I'm a Christian man." But I did ask him.
You know, Robert Nighthawk, he has this live on Maxwell Street thing that he did. And Mike Bloomfield was on that record. And Mike Bloomfield was also interviewing Robert Nighthawk, who's very, very reluctant. Is in a living room somewhere, got his little amp. He's like, I don't know, I'll just play. That's it. That's all you get. And then Bloomfield asked him, Robert, did you ever do any spirituals? And Robert Nighthawk goes, well, I kind of work for the other guy.
Oh, no.
Whoa. Whoa.
Wow.
I guess the Illuminati was alive and well back then.
Unbelievable. That's unbelievable to hear.
That is unbelievable to hear. You know, Kim, you should have your own radio show because you're quite a musicologist. You know your stuff. You'd be great on the radio.
I would love to have, the thing is that I can't let them tell me what to play.
Right.
I have plenty of music to last several seasons. And, I would love to do it. I mean, I've gone to Sirius. They weren't looking for anybody at the time. And plus, I would go pretty much traditional.
Well, today you could do your own radio.
Show people what it really is.
Right.
And so I'm not sure they're ready for that.
We need people like you, though, that really tell it like you do. Terrestrial radio stinks. It's the worst garbage I've ever heard in my life. And it all started because it's a conglomerate. You know, they all play the same crap. It's all about commercials. That's all it's about. I
mean, look, back in the day, I grew up I'm a child of the 60s. Okay.
Yeah, me too.
And there were
the best.
I mean, you could listen.
Yes.
You had the Singing Nun, you had the Ballad of the Green Berets, but you also had Charlie Rich and Slim Harpo doing Mohair Sam at the same time. You had Born in Chicago by Paul Butterfield. You had of course Otis Redding and James Brown.
Yeah.
And Aretha, and then you had the Motown stuff,
Right. On AM radio.
Yeah, that was AM radio.
Little transistor radio. That's all we needed.
Yeah, I had a transistor radio by my bed every night when I moved from Detroit in 1960. And I had Casey Kasem on there. And in the morning, I had XCRB with Wolfman Jack. And every morning he would play Further Up the Road by Bobby Blue Bland, who was also an influence of mine. And Blues with a Feeling by Little Walter. Every morning.
Wow.
Every morning. I remember going to my draft physical when that came on. And at least I got to.
Do you know any of the
rock Detroit guys like Mark Farner or Susie Quattro, Bob Seger?
I don't know any of them.
Alice Cooper? Any of those guys?
I don't know them because I left when I was 9.
Okay.
So, I was, I didn't want to go at the time, but then when I hit Goleta, I went, oh.
Yeah.
And so I live out here in San Juan now. It's paradise,
Right.
Yeah, it's a little expensive.
Is it?
Gas just went down, but listen, it doesn't have to be expensive as long as you can find it. As long as you can find a house. I got in. I was living in Texas, and I got in. I when the interest rates went down, and I got in for a pretty good price in a condo. Then when I got married, we moved into this place, and we're never moving.
Yeah.
Because it's paradise.
Good, good.
And my wife's got this yard just
Perfect, huh?
oh, it's you pick avocados off the tree.
Nice.
We got grapefruits and limes and lemons and orange. I mean, it's like strawberries, it's figs. It's like crazy.
Yeah. That's why you look so
all
good.
year
You're
long.
good.
I try to eat organic, believe it or not.
Yeah, that's good.
When I get on the road, it's a little difficult. I mean,
Yeah.
I had open heart surgery 6 or 7 years ago now,
Mm-hmm.
freeway bypass and
Right.
new aortic valve, and I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't have time to get scared because I had some chest pains for many years.
Really?
Yeah, chest pains for many years, and then it got worse and worse and worse. I would still go out and play basketball; they'd go away.
Right.
So then I finally, my wife. Anyway, it's such a long story. I passed out on the stairs over here in Doheny, and so I got my GP, and she said, "Well, okay, you take this, and I'm going to send you to this cardiologist." I go to the cardiologist. He said, he did 3 tests on me. He said, well, it looks like you got blockage here and here and here. I said, I'm going to go to Italy to see my wife because she's over there with the grandkid. And he said, don't go to Italy. Take these meds.
Right.
I didn't like the meds. I went to Italy. And when I got back, he said, we're going to do the angiogram. It's probably more information than anybody needs. But so before he does the angiogram, he looks around the curtain. He says, I heard you've been bad. I said, what do you mean? He goes, like, you stopped taking the meds and you went to Italy. I went, yeah. He goes, I'm not going to touch you until you say you're going to comply. I said, okay. So he goes, we're going to put in a couple stints if we need to right now.
Right, right.
A couple minutes later, he comes back in. We're admitting you to the hospital right now. Ain't no stents coming. It's not going to work on you because it was like 95% blocked.
Wow, wow.
So anyway,
I'm glad you're talking about this because this happens a lot to everybody, and you got to know,
Well, at least I waited until I had Medicare.
Yeah, there you go.
It didn't cost me anything. But if you got something wrong and you feel weird, get it checked out.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it was, I didn't think I was going to die anytime, but when I passed out, I went, okay, that's an indication. That's a sign.
That's a sign. I had a scare too. I had all of a sudden I had blood around the heart sac.
Ooh.
And had to go in there with a needle and drain it.
Wow.
But, I had a constant numbing. It wasn't a real bad pain. It was just a numbing, and it just wouldn't go away.
Wow.
But they said if I didn't go to the hospital, I probably would have checked out.
Yeah. Listen, I go to see my cardiologist once a year now. And,
you have to.
Every time I thank him for saving my ass.
Exactly.
Because he did.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's it's get a good doctor, get somebody you trust.
Yep.
And if you feel weird or anything like that, just go get it checked out.
Well, we thank you for that information and thank you for sharing. It's important.
You're welcome.
Kim, what's next? we got this album coming out. You got some dates coming up.
The road, the road, man.
The road.
The road.
What's next?
That's how you make your money these days. You go on the road, and
Yep.
I got a feeling, like I say, this album has taken on a life of its own already, and hasn't
It's a
even
winner.
released yet. And you know, people are the single is.
Mhm.
The thing is about this album is that it's kind of setting the record straight about what a T-Bird record is supposed to sound.
Exactly.
So I think that you get on the road, start writing for the next one. Of course, I'll be getting Strongman back down here.
Yep.
And you know, our agent says it's a 2-year plan, and this is the first year of it. A lot of work already. Next year's going to be bigger. So just keep
it's
it
awesome, man.
Get out
T-Birds
there.
are back.
Yeah,
I mean, Kim has always been there, but now the T-Birds are fully back.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
This band, if you haven't seen this band, you better come, because it's really something.
Yep. I want to say special thanks to Mark Pucci of Mark Pucci Media for setting this interview up with Kim Wilson today. Pre-order the new album by the Fabulous Thunderbirds, Struck Down. It'll be available soon.
You can get it on the Stony Plain website.
StonyPlainRecords.com.
I believe you can order it on the T-Bird website as well.
Yes.
And the merch is great. It's the album cover. Looks really good.
It looks cool. Traditional Thunderbird stuff.
Yeah.
It's great. You got your official website, www.fabulousthunderbirds.com. You're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all your music, of course, is on YouTube. And I want to encourage everybody to please go see the Thunderbirds in concert, because they are terrific.
Thank you, sir.
Kim, thank you so much once again for being on the show. I appreciate it, man. Always a great privilege to talk to you. You're a great guy, and very, very knowledgeable about everything.
As you are. Thank
and
you
I
very
do want to
much.
say, I do think you are the greatest harmonica player in the world, and I really mean that.
Thank you very much.
There's nobody like you anymore, and keep doing what you're doing, because you're a legend.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Kim. My best to the family, and good luck on the road.
Back at you, man. Let's
All
do
right,
it
man.
again.
We will. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take it easy.